Today is July the 6th, 2024, and the title of this video is Yah's Commandments Are Not Negotiable. And this video is a warning to Israelites that the Spirit of Antiochus is alive and well and still trying to get Israelites to disobey Yah. If you hear nothing else, hear this. We must keep all 10 commandments of the Most High to the best of our understanding and ability while we are in captivity. This is non-negotiable. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 to 3 tells us that this is true. It says, "And it shall come to pass, when all these things shall have come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thy face, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, wherein Yah shall have scattered thee, and shall return to Yah, thy Elohim, and shall hearken to his voice, according to all things which I charge thee this day, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, then Yah shall heal thine iniquities, and shall pity thee, and shall again gather thee out from all the nations among which Yah has scattered thee." So there is a sequence of events that we must understand and follow. Step 1, we awake in the land of our captors and realize who we are and remember the blessings and the curses. Step 2, we return to Yah and hearken to the command that Moses gave that day. And step 3, then Yah shall heal our iniquities and pity us and gather us from all the nations where he scattered us. So what was the command that Moses charged them that day? We need to know that so that we can do it. And that command is found in verse 16. The command is to love Yah, thy Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his ordinances and his judgments. Yah is not coming back for a disobedient nation. He is coming back for a remnant of people who love him and walk in his ways and keep his ordinances and his judgments. And the reason that this is a warning video is because the Spirit of Antiochus is alive and well and still trying to get Israelites to disobey the Most High Yah. Who is Antiochus? Antiochus Epiphanes was an evil king mentioned in 1 Maccabees who had taken over Israel's land. This evil king polluted the sanctuary and the holy people. He set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrificed swine's flesh and unclean beasts. This evil king said they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. And Antiochus did this so that the Israelites might forget the law and change all the ordinances. This king rent in pieces the books of the law which they found and burned them with fire. And he killed any Israelite that kept the law of Yah. Women who circumcised their children were killed, and the infants were hung by the necks. And the Spirit of Antiochus is still alive today. There are still people trying to get Israelites to disobey the law of the Most High Yah. The Spirit of Antiochus says, don't keep the Sabbath. Don't circumcise your children. Don't remember Yah's feast days. Make graven images and idols. Don't trust the holy scriptures. Forsake the holy covenant of Yah. Those with this spirit are repeating the error of Antiochus, who found and then burned the law of Yah. But even under the rulership of this horrible, evil king named Antiochus, there was a remnant of Israelites who loved Yah and who would rather die than to profane the holy covenant, also known as the Ten Commandments. Even though their temple was destroyed and their sacrifices were ended and their sanctuary was defiled, this remnant was determined to keep the holy covenant. So they escaped to secret places in the wilderness. And while they were there on a Sabbath day, the king's men pursued them and urged them to come forth. But they refused, and they said, "Neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day." These people had left all they had in the city and were hiding in the wilderness, and yet they still honored the Sabbath day. 1,000 Israelites died that day because they refused to fight with the king's men on the Sabbath day. Yes, they kept the Sabbath in the wilderness, and they kept the Sabbath even when they were under attack, and they kept the Sabbath even though their sanctuary and their land had been defiled. To them, there was no excuse for profaning the Sabbath, not even the threat of death. Keeping the Sabbath in the wilderness was not new to Israelites. They were following the example of our ancestors who kept the Sabbath in the wilderness. Before the Israelites ever entered the Holy Land, they kept Yah's Sabbath and did not gather manna on the Sabbath day. Keeping the Sabbath is a perpetual covenant for all generations, whether in the land or not. And today, there is still a remnant of Israelites who love Yah and who would rather die than profane his holy covenant. While we are in captivity, we must learn from our ancestors and follow the example of the righteous Israelites. The 3 Hebrew men were in captivity, but kept the first and second commandments, refusing to bow to the image. Daniel, while in captivity, refused to defile himself with the king's meat, keeping the dietary law. Joseph, while in captivity, refused to commit adultery with Potiphar's wife, keeping the 7th commandment. The Maccabees, while under King Antiochus, refused to profane the Sabbath, keeping the 4th commandment. The 10 commandments are not land-bound, and the 4th commandment follows us whether we are in the wilderness or in the land of our captors. Wherever true Israelites are scattered, you will know and recognize them by that one commandment that identifies them. The commandment that they keep every 7 days, the commandment to cease from their own works. Of all the commandments, there is one that Yah said was a mark and a sign. It is not only a sign between us and Yah, but it is a sign between us and each other. This is the test to see if Yah has sanctified a person. If there is one among us who refuses to keep Yah's Sabbath, we know that they are not part of Yah's remnant. In Deuteronomy 31 and 13, Yah told Moses, "Do thou also charge the children of Israel, saying, Take heed and keep my Sabbaths, for they are a sign with me and among you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yah, that sanctifies you. The word Sabbath has a tav at the end, which signifies a mark, and a bet, which symbolizes a tent or a house, and in this case, the house of Israel. Yah gave us the Shabbat as a perpetual sign that He has sanctified us and set us apart. We must keep it and all of the 10 Commandments while in captivity. This is non-negotiable.